At the shoot. Sport fans, I'm Michael Sakala.
And I'm Brandon Wicker.
And how the hell are you?
We're doing pretty good, actually.
Yes.
Coming to you live from Bellacino's, home of the grinder.
Yes, it
And the
is.
pizza.
Can't forget.
Don't forget to throw in some Bud Lights, too. Gary, you must be pleased with your Lions. We'll just jump right out there with that. I mean, everybody thought, including me, the Vikings were going to run away with it. They're sitting right there, 4-4, just like everybody else. They could take the division. Every time that I think the Vikings are going to, close it off, they just leave the door open for everyone.
You know what you gotta love is the up and down.
Or actually, you're 5-4. I'm 4-4.
Stafford. How about
They tried to
the
lose.
Stafford? You know, some weeks Stafford, you're like, what? And then there's other weeks where that shotgun arm is it's unbelievable. That kid can just throw the ball when he wants to.
I'm sorry to knock you off track.
No,
Go ahead.
no, not a problem
I had to
at all.
throw that out there.
I mean, we had an exciting week other than football. Not that this is the format. Obviously this isn't CNN or Fox News. This isn't the O'Reilly show. But
And we don't want to be either.
We had an exciting election. People have voted. We have somebody in there now, and I want to start that off with my, special part,
Oh, man.
the stinker of the week.
That one really
Hillary, stop yourself. So my first stinker of the week, I want to talk about that quarterback in San Francisco that likes to kneel down all the time, and he's the so-called civil rights role model, as I think he self-proclaims himself. Yet again, he takes a knee this week because he did not vote. Okay, if you're going to be this protester, role model, etc., how do you not vote and get your vote counted?
I did hear about that, and although I didn't listen, I heard your boy, and I have to call him your boy, Stephen A. Smith, really roasted him on TV, which was kind of nice to hear.
Well, let's hope that
For
he
being
starts to
two-faced,
go away.
basically.
I mean, obviously, he can keep kneeling, it doesn't matter. He sucks on the field, and he didn't vote, so it's like, let's just be over with this clown.
And I don't know if it's just one of those, how news is today, you can't believe half of anything. But I keep hearing news that, like, the 49ers keep getting ready to get rid of him, but he's still playing every week, so I don't know. I don't really care to talk about him anyway.
Not to go cosmetology. The dude needs a haircut. It's awesome. Can somebody shave that head up a little bit? Maybe can we curl it up or
Yeah,
something?
he probably could. Little Jerry
My
curl.
other last stinker of the week, God,
Ooh.
I just love this little toy.
bet you
Is
do.
the people?
Did you steal that from the kids?
The people of California have made their voice known, and
You're talking about Southern California.
and the San Diego Chargers will not be getting a new stadium, at least not in San Diego. They needed, I want to say,
Yeah.
2/3 of the vote. They only got 42%. I think they said they needed 66. They have till January 15th to make a decision. If either the owner has to pony up, and apparently he's not all that loaded with cash, or they may be heading to either LA or possibly to Vegas.
And I think it's Spanos, isn't that his name? The
I
owner.
think, yeah,
He
apparently he doesn't have to.
has already said now after the vote that he ain't talking about it until the end of the season, so it's over.
Yeah, well, considering their record, their season's been over a couple of weeks now, but that's besides the point.
Actually, Chargers have looked good in several games.
Yeah, they got a nice game this week against the Finns.
There's just 3 other teams in their division that are playing better than them.
How about the Raiders? We'll get to those in a little bit, but how about those Raiders? Man, I'll tell you what, black and silver. So let's get to the segment of, like we like to call, what have you learned this week? What did you learn this past week in football?
I usually don't do that flip-flop stuff. The Vikings, I thought were real. That they're almost changing my opinion totally. I'm going to say the Texans and not the Texans, but the Chiefs and the Raiders have proven themselves.
Yeah.
Who is the other team? Thoroughly disappointed with the Cardinals. Now here we go into this week, and they are at the skyrocket this week. 13.5-point favorites at home against that kid from San Francisco.
Yeah.
13.5.
Rightfully so, they should be.
I mean, the next highest spread is 7.5. So I don't know what happened to Carson Palmer between last year and this year, but the team's just not the same. I don't know what it is.
Well, a couple of things I learned this past week is, the Cowboys did not have a letdown. They actually went and beat the team they were supposed to. There was no, no hiccup from the week before beating the Eagles coming into this. They, whether or not it's a sign that they are an actually good team, at least they are beating the teams they're supposed to, which is always a good sign. The next thing I also learned is...
Since you brought that game up, just real quick, I'll have to take my bragging rights on picking the Ravens last week over the Steelers, but that's who you get this week, and they're actually favored by 2.5. The Steelers are. Imagine that.
And they should be. I mean, we get into that a little bit. It's going to be hard because Big Ben likes to throw the deep ball, and I think that is probably the Cowboys' weakness is the deep ball. I mean, they can score very quickly to us Steelers. Couple turnovers and whatnot, but they're going into that game. That's going to come down to the Cowboys sticking with their game plan, ground and pound. They got to keep Big Ben off the sidelines, long drives. They got to turn them into touchdowns and go from there. And I think what was it? Monday Tony was active. Tuesday he was inactive. Wednesday he was activated. Thursday he was inactivated. Friday he was active. I'm not sure. I'll have to look into that because I don't know what they're doing.
The last thing I heard this morning was he would not be against taking a second seat role.
No, I guess not.
That's what he said.
I guess Jerry talking about his future will give him a
You
good office job.
were telling me, and I interrupted you. What else astonished you, or what else did you learn?
How about the Vikings? They lost
Yeah.
3 in a row, man, and now they're traveling to Washington, and that's not necessarily a gimme.
They could lose that game.
It goes to show you that defense, as good as it is, if you don't have an offense, you're going to get tired. You just can't do that.
And I was real negative on that trade with Bradford. Not that I'm not trying to pick on Bradford, but he was not worth what they gave up for him. And then he came out like he was, the next Joe Montana. And all of a sudden now he can't even play quarterback. I don't know what to do.
Do you
And
think?
he's not injured as far as I know.
Now, just because I pay attention to the Eagles a lot because they're in the division, do you think Bradford is definitely a product of the Philadelphia? It comes out like a house of fire and then falls apart, and now everybody hates it. Go figure, it comes from Philadelphia. I mean, isn't that what Philly does? They always come out house of fire, Super Bowl, week 10, we suck, trade. I mean, that's what we deal with. Another thing I learned is, how about the G-men? Let's be honest, I mean, they snuck one past on the Eagles. They're sitting right now at 5-3, and guess what? In 2012, during their Super Bowl run, this time they were 6-3 going into Week 10, and we all know what happened that year. You got to watch out for those G-men. They could,
Yeah.
they make scary and come in and become a house of fire come playoff time. Are we at the point where we are going to start taking the Raiders serious now?
I have taken the Raiders serious. I still because this is the way I am. I'm not trying to go overboard. This game that they just played, their statement game,
Yeah.
their front seven played really, really well.
Mhm.
And of course, a good front seven can protect a weak secondary, which is what they have. But this was the first time that they played that well, the front seven. How far that translates, they're in the league with the Patriots. If they make it that far to that game, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well,
I'm assuming they're going to improve as they continue,
I think what they also showed us is if you're going to beat that, badass Denver defense, you just run right down their throat. They had 218 yards on the ground there. I mean, Derek Carr, look, he only had 184 yards in the air. And how bad are the Broncos missing CJ? I mean, they had a total of 33 yards rushing. And unfortunately, our boy Seaman is not
just a Raiders front seven.
He's not Manning, and he's not going to win unless he has a running game.
Yeah, right. Yeah, the QB isn't proven at all.
Last thing I learned is on I believe it was the Monday night game. You play through the whistle. If you take Herman Edwards, you play through the whistle. How about that? What do you think? Do you? I mean, he was offsides. He obviously hit the ball, which in turn allows him to run into the kicker. So it all technically was a legal play. And he honestly, and there's no way to prove that he heard the whistle or didn't hear the whistle, but he did make that statement, and it makes a lot of sense, that the field goal kicker was still kicking the ball, because if that field goal would have been made, the penalty, they would have just denied. They would have said,
Right.
"We don't want the penalty. We'll take the 3 points." So in essence, that was a smart play on his part, because he's a
Right.
really smart player. I mean, you could say what you want, he could be an arrogant ass, but the dude knows how to play, and he's pretty freaking smart. He did go to Stanford.
Yep.
All right, so Week 10, What do you got for week 10? Who do you like?
Well, we'll start here. A big game for the producer, Bucks and Bears. Just right north of us, about 120 miles.
To me,
What do you got after them knocking out the Vikings? What do you got?
I think the way Cutler looked, he showed when Cutler wants to play football, he is one of the top quarterbacks in the league. The dude's still got a gun. He can throw the ball. The defense all of a sudden has got a little energy going on. I think there's a little confusion going on in Tampa. They don't really have a running game all that much. I think they're starting. Martin's hurt. Rodgers is hurt. I think they're on their third guy. I want to say his name's Smith or something. Winston needs a running game, and he needs to find somebody to throw the ball to other than Evans. I'm taking the Bears. You gotta love the Bears. How do you not love the Bears in this situation?
And surprisingly, or I should say not surprisingly, as a road team, they're favored by 2.5.
What's it? Why is it? Are you bringing in planes? What's all the hand gestures?
You put the kibosh on my team?
Oh, because you went.
Oh yeah, Bush. I'm sorry.
You're supposed
The
to
Bucks.
pick
The Bucks are going to blow them out. The Bucks are going to win this game.
Good
Let me
call.
tell you what the Bucks are going to do. The Bucks are going to. I've seen at least 5 to 6 sacks. Cutler is going to. This time he's going to hurt his pinky finger. You're going to catch him on the sidelines. He's going to be picking his nose. He's just going to have no choice. He's got to get it out. We've all been there before at the stop street. He's going to break the nail in his pinky finger. He'll be out for 3 weeks. The Bucks win this game. I'd say 52-0.
All right, but you know what? You were talking about these games, and you look at this list this week. I could more easily pick out the crap games. I mean, look at some of the matchups we're going to see this week.
I think that's the problem. Not to get into the ratings, because I know you hate all that crap. That's the problem we got. There's a lot of crap.
Chiefs, Panthers,
There's
Broncos, Saints. I mean, that's
yeah.
Vikings, Redskins. I'd sit and watch that game.
If you're going to go by crap games, you got the
Steelers, Cowboys.
Texans, Jags. I'm looking forward to that. The Rams and Jets. Can't wait for that one.
I was listening to the good ones.
The Finns and Chargers.
I'd watch that.
And how about the Monday night, the end of the week? We got the Bengals and the Chiefs.
That's going to be a great game.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking at, how about this one? I got the Falcons traveling to Philly. That's going to be a really good game.
And they're giving the Falcons one. The Birds playing each other. Falcons come flying in 1-point favorites at Philly's house.
Which dirty bird wins? My question is, who is going to slow down Manny Ice and Julio? These two have been out of control as of late. The guy's got almost 1,000 yards already.
Green Bay lost to him by 1 point, and Julio Jones didn't even have, I don't think, 25 yards the whole game. So I'm just saying.
I think the Eagles can play this run and gun, because that's what it is. It seems like the last couple games it's turned into a shootout whenever the Falcons
Just
are
to
playing.
go with what you said, he's learning to throw to other people.
Yeah, he
because
has
they still
to.
beat us by a point. Basically, he had Jones the whole game and never used him, or couldn't, and they still won.
What I also found surprising is apparently the Eagles have decided that Sproles will be their new starting running back.
And that's not really a bad choice.
No, I know. I like the way he runs. I think it's going to come down to ball control, and I'm picking the upset on this. I got the Birds winning this one, 31-30.
What else is good is Sproles is such a great screen guy.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Give
I
him
think
the
it's all about
ball, a little
control.
short pass, he can turn it into a 6.
The other game I got is I got the Chiefs traveling to Carolina, and as long as the Chiefs play, tough football like they normally do on a defensive stunt and hit and hit and hit. Again, we'll all be looking forward to the post-game interview when Superman comes up there in one of his ridiculous outfits and cries to everybody that they're hurting me and that the NFL doesn't like me and the rest think I'm still too young to get the penalty.
And if you've been watching lately, there's been a little life blown back into the Panthers defense, so this should be a pretty good defensive game.
It should be. I'm still picking the Chiefs to win that 24-17. Another game you brought up was that the San Francisco is traveling to Arizona. And the vote is in, and the country thought, like we all thought, that the Niners suck and that quarterback is even worse. He's terrible, okay? He's just absolutely terrible. Chip, though, get this. The votes are in. Chip is still a genius.
Oh.
Can you believe that? That guy's still a genius. Chippy, my man's still a genius. I'm picking the Cards to win this one, 38-24. The San Francisco's just not going to be able to keep up with that.
Right. How about Monday night or
That's what I'm
Sunday
looking
night?
at.
Sorry, Sunday night.
Yes, I
Seattle
got
Patriots.
Seattle's traveling to New England, and I think
Where they never lose, basically.
yes, but I think Sherman will hear the whistle. The difference between this whistle and the whistle that he heard last week, it's a whistle indicating a touchdown as Gronk is spiking the ball like he normally does. Did anybody see that post I put in there about Gronk? Is he not living the freaking life? Did you see that post? The guy he did a thing for Madden's, I guess for his game. He dressed up as Bon Jovi and he's reenacting the song he's doing from Bon Jovi.
I did not see that.
I gotta tell you, You can love him or hate him, the guy is living it up. He's like your true football guy. All he does is football. He's always acting silly and off the field, doing goofy shit, but when he's on the field, he's just a grunt. You just gotta love him. But I
He's a
think
football player.
that's exactly what he is. And to me, I don't think, unless, and we talked about this a couple of years ago when we were in the Super Bowl, unless Seattle watches film and understands that they need to play man up on these wide receivers and hit them off the line and try to disrupt the rhythm that the Patriots like to play in, they're not going to be able to beat them. You can't play 10, 15 yards off and expect all these little white dudes running all over the field doing 5 and ins and outs. You know, he'll pick that and then eventually Gronk across the middle and then he just scores. And that's what happens. I'm still picking the Brady's to win though, 31-24. I just don't think they got enough to control those 2 tight ends, especially the one that the Chicago let go. That was a good idea on Chicago's part. Bennett, I believe his name is. Yeah, he was definitely not worth keeping around. That's for sure. How about from a college standpoint? What do you got for this week? I got the top 7 games here. You got anybody getting beat?
You know, we really don't have any, super ranked matchups, but I'm going to say that Ohio State has one of the easiest ones against Maryland.
Yes.
Michigan has one of the toughest ones against Iowa.
Yeah.
When you look down at who's playing who. Now, if I'm Oklahoma, I'm also going to say watch out, because in successive weeks now, Baylor has looked bad after being ranked into the top 10. Now they're not even ranked in the top 25, and that's kind of like an in-state rivalry deal. Even though it's different states, they're so close. What a Baylor bounce back? I'm just saying.
No.
You just don't know. It's like a division game in NFL.
Well, I know one thing Baylor's not going to do is raise their GPA mark. Their education's not all that over there.
Here's one for you too, because we've been talking about them, and I told you the college game day boy, he just doesn't buy them. But Washington gets USC today, and USC is actually ranked
Yes.
20th, and they are in their same conference. That'll be an interesting game. Will Corso be able to call them not real anymore if they take care of USC?
Well, like I said, I wrote down the top 7. Like, this is an interesting one. I think Bama, Mississippi State's traveling to Bama. I
Played very well against A&M.
That'll be an interesting game. You got Pitt traveling to Clemson. I think that's
a good. It could be a good game.
You got Michigan going to Iowa. Like you said, that's going to be a tough one. And then number 4 Washington will be hosting USC. I'm picking USC to pull the upset. I think they got a shot. They're not the same team Alabama beat in the beginning of the year.
You're going to take Washington out of the undefeated rank.
Ohio State's going to Maryland. I think that they should relatively pull that off. You've got Wake Forest traveling to Louisville. That should be another one for the Heisman Trophy. What's his name? Jackson. He'll probably have 5-6 touchdowns, 500 yards. And then lastly, you have Illinois traveling to Wisconsin, which would be
It's going to be a good game too.
I think your Badgers are still in this stuff.
We have to win out. That's like I told you. If we lose, we're in trouble.
Now, before we go, ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to show you something that you gotta love these people who design these T-shirts. If you don't mind, can you show everybody what you're wearing? It's a pretty cool ass T-shirt this guy's got on.
Coming on there, right?
Can everybody read this? What's it say? It says what, the Cub Father, right?
Oh, Harry Carey.
And you got Harry Carey on there, which is just classic. And what's it say? Like, keep it in the family. Is that what it says? I can't even see from. What the hell does it say?
Never go against the family.
Never go
against the Cub family.
That's a
I
classic.
forgot it. I just
That
got
is.
it.
That is a really cool shirt. I'll tell you what. Whoever that was, somebody came up with that was a really good shirt. You know.
Yeah, I had to have it when I saw it.
So everyone, enjoy your weekend. Enjoy your Sunday football, and have a good one.
Have a good one.